So today I'm going to teach you how to repress any pressed powder product. So as we can see here, I have my Laura Geller Diamond Dust highlighter, but you can tell there's only like about this much around the edges here, and it's getting pretty hard to actually access. Now, cards on the table, this is going to be my second time repressing this. I don't think there's enough to need to do it a third. Sometimes that happens, but it's a quality of life thing that makes things so much easier for actually getting the last of your products. So you're going to need something to be able to break up your product with. I'm using a metal makeup spatula, but you can use a fork, a knife, the back of a makeup brush, whatever you got handy, you can use for this. So you're just going to kind of go in and bust it down from the sides. Don't be afraid, it's all going to be fine. The whole point is to bust it back down into a powder. Now, for me on this particular one, it's a little trickier since there's a grid underneath. Not all have that, some have smooth pans. So this one is a little bit more of a challenge. Now, you're gonna bust this down into as fine of a powder as you can. Again, I didn't do the greatest job on the first attempt at this. So I'm just gonna try to do better this time so I have hopefully a smoother outcome on this go round with it. And yes, I know some of it's getting caught in that like waffly grid down there. I see it, I'm aware of it. But we're just gonna kind of smash it up. Don't worry, this will not damage your product. It will not perform any differently for it. It will not change the color. Don't be afraid of it. But I get why it's scary the first time you see it or the first time you do it. I basically didn't let out my breath until I saw this successfully work the first time because I was so scared I was just gonna like break my favorite product, but needed to be done so I could finish it. So the whole point of this is to get it back down to a state where it can be repressed smoothly and moved to the center of the pan where you can access it more easily than the edges. So it does matter. Yeah, the formula on this one was not the best to begin with for this, so having that grid underneath is just turning it up to like hard mode, but that's okay. We're gonna do our best regardless. Kind of get all down in there. And then the other thing you're gonna need is some 70% rubbing alcohol. Not higher, not lower. Lower won't sanitize anything, and then you run the risk of growing mold in your product. 70 is perfect. Anything higher than 70 and you risk bleaching your product. Has to be 70 specifically. Okay, and that's about as good as we're gonna get. Now, since my bottle of rubbing alcohol is also the thing holding up my tripod, I'm gonna hit stop while I fill the cap. You don't need very much. You basically need like a few little drops just to put in the product so you can get it wet and then stir it up into kind of like a slurry. That is what we are going for. So let me do that real quick. And then I realized I could just use this to hold it. So, all right, I filled the cap with my rubbing alcohol. Now we're just gonna very carefully, don't be scared of it. The alcohol is going to help it dry. But what you are going to do, you're going to stir it around to make sure it accesses all of the product. I actually probably used a little too much for this amount, but it's okay. We will squeeze it out after it's had about 10 minutes to set up like this. But I'm just making sure everything is coated. Everything is good, which I think we're about there. So I'm just gonna kind of tap it down kind of smooth for now and come back in about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. We've got our folded up paper towel. We've got our makeup, and we're just gonna firmly press, not blot. I mean, you're trying to squish out the excess liquid. And when done correctly, you'll end up with something that looks something like this. Feel free to do it a second time if you want to make it smoother, but it may pick up a little bit of product. But I mean, you're not losing a lot, honestly. So it's fine. And then when you've got it about how you like it, I would say leave it open for at least a couple hours just to finish air drying, because if you close it before that, now you're trapping moisture in there. Now you're risking things like mold. But just as a reminder, this is our after. Remember what it looked like before. This is going to be so much easier to use up after the fact. So, anyway, hope this was helpful to you guys. It was literally life-changing for me when I learned how to do this, and it's so simple. Literally anyone can do it.